welcome back. For those of you that don't know, I grew up playing percussion in school band, orchestra, and eventually went on to school to study classical percussion. So I have a lot of experience with the multitude of different percussion instruments, from all the battery instruments and typical drums, to mallets, to world percussion, and of course, a bunch of the accessory or auxiliary percussion instruments. Now, over the years, I acquired a lot of those myself, and I have a slew of different percussion instruments here in my studio that I use from time to time for sessions, gigging, or teaching with my students. One that I have never needed since leaving college is a slapstick. Now, I feel like this is a pretty jovial instrument, and it really only has one famous application that I can think of, being Sleigh Ride by Leroy Anderson. Now, I have a gig coming up, and it's not a Christmas gig to play Sleigh Ride, but a different show where one of the band members asked me if I had a slapstick because he wanted to cover that part in one specific song. And I figured this would be a good time to just make one, because in reality, it's a pretty simple instrument in terms of the construction of it. I've pulled up Google here and just looked up slapstick instrument, because if you look up slapstick, it's probably going to show a bunch of comedy stuff. But you can see a few different kinds here. It seems like there's two kinds. There's this one here, which is like spring-loaded, that you could play with one hand, like in like a whipping type motion. And that's not really the kind I ever played in college or high school. So what I want to do is build one more like this. This one's made by Pearl, and you can see it's just two pieces of flat wood that can be hit together to make the slap sound. And then there's a hinge holding it together at the bottom, a handle, maybe a handle on the other side too. And then there's a hole cut out here, which I'm guessing is to let some air escape if things don't hit just perfect. Because when you hit two crash cymbals together, if you do it just right, you're gonna get no sound and get an airlock. So my guess would be that hole is for that, or maybe projection, but I honestly don't know. I'm probably still gonna do it anyways. Just thinking about this and looking on a couple forums online, I think it would be smart to go with a hardwood. So not like pine, typical construction wood. That's a very soft wood. Something hard would be better for getting that sort of slap contact. Something that'll unfortunately be a little bit more expensive. And then instead of building a handle out of wood, I think I'm just gonna get like a drawer pull. Yeah, like look at this one here. This looks like cherry to me. And it's got the hinge on the bottom, it's got the holes here, and just two drawer pulls so that you have something to hold on to. One thing you may not be able to see, but up here in the corner, you'll see that a little bit of it is notched out, because in order for those two boards to meet flat, you're gonna need the drawer hinge to be flush with the surface. So you're gonna have to notch out a little space for that. I don't think this should take too long to do, and I don't think I'm gonna have to narrate you through the whole thing. And it shouldn't take me more than just today. All right, let's get going. So I can't get these screws to stop breaking because the wood is just too hard and the screws are too small to take this sort of tension. So I recut everything with some scrap plywood that I had, and we'll see how it works. If I want to rebuild it with a hardwood, I will, but if it sounds good, I'm probably just gonna go with it at this point. finished. Not as good as I was initially hoping when I had bought that hickory board, and now I'm just doing it with plywood, but I think it still sounds okay. So sign me up for the local symphony's Christmas show playing Leroy Anderson's Sleigh Ride. I'll call this one a winner. All in all, I think I spent like $15, $16, and that was with a board that cost $10 that I didn't even end up using. So this could be done for just a few dollars, and it's a fun little DIY project, especially if you need one for a concert coming up. I'm gonna let my friend use this for that gig we have where he asked for it, and then honestly, if this thing ends up sitting on a shelf for too much longer, I'll probably just donate it to a school who doesn't have one. I work with a few schools doing drumline and working with the jazz bands, so if any of them need this, I'll probably just give it to them, and if I need another one, I can make it for a few bucks in an hour again. So, thanks for watching, happy holiday season, and until next time, thanks.